One of the most important things that a business can get right is decision making. Several different strategies exist that allow a company to get a good solution. And one of these is linear programming. So let's find out what is linear programming. Linear programming is a method of solving a complex problem, one so complex that it is outside the ability of a normal human-based decision making. Linear programming involves something called constraint optimization. In simple terms, we create a set of rules that describe a problem. Following these rules will allow us to uncover a solution. One of the wonderful things about using a computer to solve problems, such as those in linear programming, is the ability of the computer to deliver consistent results. Getting something right once is great. Getting it right every time is a little more important, but significantly more difficult. Once we formulate a problem correctly, we can keep the process going and solve the same type of problem with great consistency. Now, when we talk about linear programming, you must understand that linear programming have three parts: the objective function, the decision variables, and the constraints. And we're going to briefly talk about them right now. The objective function is the thing that you are trying to solve for. Linear programming is typically done with the goal either to maximize the objective function or to minimize the objective function. It is important to know which and choosing maximization versus minimization is always a context-specific decision. Generally speaking, we choose to maximize good things such as profit, innovation, revenue, return on investment, etc. Also, as a general rule, we choose to minimize the bad things such as cost, wage, risk, etc. We will be using a color coding scheme to make sure that we don't miss out on important things while we are involving ourselves with linear programming. So in our color coding scheme, the objective function will always be green in Excel. The next thing in linear programming that you need to know about is the decision variables. The decision variables are the items that we are actually asking the computer to find for us. They make up a part of the objective function, and as such, the objective function must be described first. The decision variables can be things such as how many of an item to build or buy, or how many units shipped from location A to location B, or how many people working, or how many dollars to be invested, etc. In our coding scheme, the decision variable set will always be yellow in Excel. Finally, constraints are the rules that we must follow. For any type of problem, you have a set of rules that define the resources that you have available because nobody have unlimited resources. Constraints have two parts. The left-hand side, constraints, which usually describes the current amount of scarce resources that you are consuming, and the right-hand side, which tells you the limit of those resources. In our color coding scheme, the left-hand side of the constraint will always be blue, and the right-hand side will always be red. So in summary, with linear programming, we are trying to find the optimal solution. An optimal solution is either maximizing the good things or minimizing the bad things. Moreover, and as we will see during the course of this course, that through linear programming, we are also able to unveil more insights about the type of problem we are trying to solve, and more information gets revealed to us to help us make better decisions regarding that problem.